All right, folks, back here on the Bossman show, in front of the show, Coach LaVall Jordan of the Butler Bulldogs here with me. Coach, what's up, man? How you doing, man?
Man, all good this way. Just we're overcoming, managing like everybody else. Doing
Coach,
great.
let me ask you this, man. It's funny how everything kind of went crazy on my birthday, which is March 11th, with the NBA shutting down. So
Yeah.
everything after that just went downhill. So for you guys, how did you all find about the news that the Big Ten tournament, the Big East tournament is going to be canceled pretty much? And how did you all deal with it, man? Because you have to get kids back home. Got to go school online now. So how was that whole transition process for you guys, man? I know it was hard for us in the NBA, and it'll be hard for you guys as well.
Yeah, it was it was just it was almost surreal because you're in the moment. I mean, we were literally about to get on the bus to go over to Madison Square Garden, because it was around noon. There was noon games tipping off at noon, and then you start to see the cancellations. Big Ten canceled and Big 12 canceled. So who's left, and so it's like, all right, are we gonna cancel too, and everybody else is follow, we're gonna follow suit. And our noon game actually tipped off Creighton and St. John's. We were the 2 o'clock game, and so we're preparing as if it's gonna happen. And then around 1 o'clock or so, right before we were about to hop on the bus to head over, it started to seem like, okay, I don't know if we're gonna actually play. I think that game got stopped. That game got stopped at halftime, so we had to meet with our team. But they were dressed like in uniform,
Wow.
and I'm dressed. We were kind of about there, ready to go get on the bus, and then we had to break the news to them. So there was a lot of emotion, just because that's then at that point it's like, all right, the Big East tournament's done. There was still hope that we might still play the NCAA tournament, and we felt like we were in a good position to get in and the whole deal. But then around, so guys went, it's like, hey, go with your families, grab some lunch. We'll get more information and get back together here when we get more. And around about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, we had to have another team meeting to tell them, it's all shut down. And then, a lot of emotions poured out because you got just seniors that that's their opportunity is gone, and that's the end of their season, and so everybody was kind of hurting together on just it being over. So yeah, that was, so you get through that, and now you got to get on the plane and get out of there. We were in New York of all places
Oh yeah.
in the moment, so we get through that. We're trying to get out as quick as possible due to all the risks, and get back on campus. And then it was spring break for Butler University during that time, so no students were here, and so we let guys go home. And then come to find out, spring break was going to get extended for a long time. So yeah, that just the communication piece, because it was coming so fast, right? And it's nothing we've ever seen before in our lifetime.
It was funny because you was in New York. The Hawks played the Knicks on my birthday at night, so I was kind of thinking about, did any of the New York people pass it on to us? Because no, it's the Knicks.
Yeah,
They're here, so it was like I was worried for a few weeks there, but when nothing happened, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll be dodge this bullet right now because I was scared for it because I have asthma. So I'm like, okay, let me
yeah,
hope they didn't give me nothing, but thank God that worked itself out. But yeah, if you was in New York, I'll do with the Knicks. So it's like we kind of had a similar situation going on at the same time
yeah.
there.
And there was a moment right after we arrived. They told us all to just quarantine at home for 14 days, just because we were just coming from that area, and we didn't want to. You just didn't know. We didn't have a lot of information. It's like, okay, so yeah, everybody's been walking around. People on the plane been walking around in New York City, and getting ready to go to the game. Now there's no game, but everybody's been out in public. So what do we do next, and what does that mean? So thankfully, there was no positive cases in our party, and everybody was fine from a health standpoint.
Academically wise, I know your academic advisor really played a big role getting your young men to work from home there because when you're used to being in class in front of your professor to have to transfer to the virtual learning, right snap of a finger. The academic advisor had to really help them out a lot, especially their blackboards. And, you know, you all can watch it, of course, with blackboard, but having to get those young men to keep their grades up, take care of responsibilities academically while at home to their own devices had to be a little challenging at times. But knowing your staff there probably got young men, they'll spring semester real good for those young men for you.
Yeah, I think it was, you know, you had a new level of appreciation for teachers and professors, right? Because shoot, my I've got three daughters at 12, 7, and 15, 12, and 7. So, you know, we were turned into homeschool teachers and trying to facilitate the online and the remote learning stuff. And for the professors, you know, everybody, you know, faculty and staff, they're all trying to figure out how to, you know, formulate something that would be able to do. So that took some time, you know, for professors to get together, how they could, you know, finish the semester, and then everybody's adapting to that plan. And, you know, for our academic people, advisors and athletics, you know, how to help support. And when normally you got a study hall or a study table, and you got, you know, tutors and resources here, but now everybody's at home and you're doing it all on Zoom like this, and trying to stay engaged. And so, yeah, that was a whole different thing that I think you grew comfortable with after some time. And now some people still have to do it, you know, unfortunately, here in the fall semester. And so we've started that way for the first 2 weeks. And yeah, so, but at least there's a reference, you know, it's like a new level of comfort, even though it's not what you want. But at least you know what you're supposed to be doing, you know how to access things, you know where to go, and how to communicate, since you're not in person.
Now, Coach, for your young men's bodies, I know some of them probably didn't have hoops at their homes back home. So, strength and conditioning coach had to probably work overtime to find the young men ways to keep themselves kind of semi-quasi in shape without having a hoop and different plans, knowing that based on what they all have at home, because you don't want to get back to you and kind of start from scratch. So, how did that process go for you guys?
Yeah, it is crazy. You're trying to figure out what you can do, right? You know, we want to give guys a basketball workout, but gyms are shut down, you know, especially back in, you know, April, you know, when we would be in our postseason before we release them to go home. May, guys don't have a gym they can get in. Guys, you know, they start taking park baskets off the rims at the park.
Yes.
Like, there's nowhere to play basketball. You're like, if you're a cross country runner, you're fine. You just go outside and run and pick your distances. But you needed, you know, weights and things to develop your body. And so, yeah, our strength and conditioning coach, Matt Johnson, was, you know, working overtime to just come up with what we could send them, bands and things that they could use while they were at home. You know, he was posting videos, and we had a team Instagram account where he was, you know, just firing things to demonstrate exercises and show them, to come up with some routines. Because they're just so used, you know, as an athlete, especially a collegiate athlete, you're just so used to the routine.
Most definitely.
Right, you know, getting in the weight room, get with one of the coaches, get a workout in, you know, class and study hall, and, you know, you just regimented. And now you get home and it's like, you know, you didn't have to wake up maybe at the same time and have the routine. And so that was a big challenge, to say the least, just trying to get a routine for them, give them things that would keep them engaged during that time where we were apart. And then it became, usually we would get our guys here in the summer at the end of June for us. Newcomers come in and other guys, returners, are back, and you get those, you know, 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks you're allowed there in July, heading into half of August. And so that even got, you know, we were all online for the summer. So guys were still at home, and you're trying to, you know, now you got your newcomers that you want to get here, and, you know, you had the introduction and the team building and team bonding and workouts, and get their fundamentals in place. And so now that all of that got delayed as well. And so those young guys that finish up high school that are so eager to come,
Most definitely.
can't come yet. So that was, you know, all of that was just new challenges. And so many coaches, and you're on the line with other coaches, because nobody has a game plan for it, right? Nobody's got the playbook to say, oh, here's what you do when a pandemic comes.
You don't got that. You don't have that one.
No, it's like you just got to have a lot in your tool belt in your kitty as a coach, but nobody had the playbook for this one.
No, most definitely. And it's kind of speaking to in those Zoom meetings you had. We have a lot in our country social unrest with all these different killings. So how did you all address that with the team? Try to give your team the education about that and get them all ready to the vote and understand that they do have a voice, they have power, and get them to understand the issues of what we're going on around us. Because we've kind of had the pandemic and the social pandemic as well at the same time coming together. So right here and right at our faces in 2020. So how did you all kind of talk to your team about that, help them all understand what's going on in our country right now?
Yeah, no question. We'll never forget 2020, right? Any of us that were, will live to tell about it. But yeah, I think that was, just being open and honest. We try to have that environment and that culture in any ways, JR, where we can just hop in and have a conversation about real talk. We say all the time, hey, we don't want elephants in the room. Like, we're not going to be better men. We're not going to be a better team. We're not going to be better players. And we got to have some humility about us to be able to handle the truth. And so, but when truth unfolds right in front of you, it's a difficult thing. It's difficult for me. I'm sure it's difficult for you at our age to process, what was going on, why something like a George Floyd murder would happen in 2020. And, all the elements that resurface that come with that. So for me to process and then try to help our guys process it, they're 18, 20, they got different ethnic backgrounds and they're trying to understand, but allowing them the space to talk was kind of the first thing, to just open up and talk about how they're feeling and just unload and just listen and some of the things that were going through their hearts, their minds, and then keeping the dialogue going, and then starting to educate, where, systemic racism and some of the things that go along with it and the history of our country. So we've had some real good Zooms with, good use of it is, sharing videos with them, from an educational standpoint, and then having dialogue about, about things that, that happened in the past. And then talking about change for now. Like, all of our guys, proud to say, are registered to vote. We had did a voter education Zoom with someone to help us out last Thursday to talk about making sure, the toolkit they need for absentee ballots, because most of our roster isn't from Indiana, so they got to be able to request it on time. And, we have a Be United initiative in our athletic department that started as a result of all of this, to just address it and having them take that vehicle and that platform. And did a crucial conversation. If your listeners hadn't heard it or seen it, you can check out butlersports.com. And there's a Be United crucial conversation where a couple of our players and myself allowed them to open up right here in the middle of the court at Hinkle Fieldhouse and just talk about, a lot of the things that they're dealing with in this context. And so it's been awesome to see them kind of want to engage and be involved and want to seek change, and as they understand more ways of how they can do that and go about it through all of this unrest.
And Coach, I gotta tell my listeners, like, for me, I'm JR, but when I watch out my Atlanta Hawks gear, I'm just JR, a black guy in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? You're just LaVall, a guy in Indiana, in Indianapolis. So it's like, when we take off our gear, we're two black men and trying to live our lives the right way. And, we could go out, it could be us. It could be hashtag JR, hashtag LaVall, because unfortunately, our country is not progressing much we thought it has, and I feel like we have to educate our young men and give them that background. Because for me, I've decided to use my show as a platform going forward, because I have a voice. I got to use it for good. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm gonna do me a 501c4 that start a nonprofit to help out as well. So I've been inspired by this to use my voice, having racial bricks right here in my backyard, Martin Arbery right here in my backyard, to do something about this and help our state and help our nation regionally, and let's try to make a difference in some way, because I feel like, Coach, it's time for change. We voices like you and I can help spur that change as well, Coach.
Yeah, no question. I think, and I've said this multiple times now, is some of the things we've seen is like, once you see it, right, you can't unsee it.
Most definitely.
And now, there's a choice we have to make. It's like, if you feel like that's okay, that's your choice, right? But I would like to think that most don't, right? So now, how do we go about pursuing, what we do want as a culture? Because that's definitely not it. And now what's our role in that? Like you got a platform. We have a platform as coaches. You've seen athletes, in a big way, professional athletes use their platform. What's our role in it, and how to go about, influencing true change, right? To have it be in a better place. And so, again, we're all making those decisions on what we want to be and part of, and what vehicles to jump on, and whether it's voting initiatives, whether it's things on our campus in our Indianapolis community that we're going to join in and be a part of. But whatever it is, it's like, hey, this isn't the way we want it. So let's all, and you're right. It's one of the most impactful things for me, Jared, was one of our Bryce Golden, one of our players who's not black, he's a white kid from Virginia. He called me a few days after to check on me, which was really impactful. It's like, just, hey, coach, how you doing? Knowing he never experienced it, doesn't necessarily know what it's like to be black, but there's such a care level.
Most definitely.
And we've got obviously a relationship to where he was just calling a check, not as his coach, just like, somebody that he knows, that it looks like, that is black, just knows they're probably different, a whole set of emotions running through, just saying, how you doing? It was a big thing. And I think having those crucial, like I said, we had one winning amongst our team, multiple. There's one out there that everybody can go watch. But those crucial conversations, uncomfortable conversations, the dialogue that hopefully is happening in a lot of places. And let's be honest, like, if we're gonna be comfortable, we're probably not gonna change much.
Most definitely.
Right. So it has to get uncomfortable here and that's the thing about speaking up, using a voice, peaceful protests, like those things it's not comfortable for a lot of people, but it moves the needle to where we're going to have to do something different.
What God said is, Coach, before we move on, my next question is, like, I've lost 4 sponsors since I've been talking about us and the system, what's been going on. I lost 4 sponsors, but I say this, Coach, like, you cut me off because it's not the Hawks, Braves, or whatever you want me to talk about, but talking about my people, you cut me off. So it tells me all you know about you as a company. If you're gonna cut off sponsorship because I'm saying stuff that you don't want to hear, what makes you uncomfortable. So it's like, wow, really? Talking about real life stuff is an issue for sponsors, I see. So I was like, it took me back, but I'm like, shouldn't be surprised, because everybody's not with the movement, of course. Everybody does not want change, but still be about the change. Those who push back against it, we still got to be about it and fight against that, and still push the right message to help out the right people. So when one person hears it, tell somebody else, we can get something going and get their ball rolling that way, then we will have some change eventually down the road here.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's it can't be status quo. That's for certain. And it's like the thing I tell our team there about culture is, if you have a culture, everybody doesn't fit. Right, that's the beautiful part of it now, and is like, if it fit everybody, well, this culture that we want is like, we're all human. We're all the same under God, created in the image of God. That's what I believe. So it's like, well, that makes us, one. And now,
yes,
how do
indeed.
we keep growing toward treating each other as such, and putting systemic policy in place that hold people accountable when they don't, and having the opportunities be as such. And if you lose a fan, or if you lose it's like, hey, that's their choice, but this is a human
yes.
thing.
This is right and wrong.
This is bigger than that.
Now, Coach, let me ask you, how's recruiting been via Zoom? I know that's been weird for you guys. We have to recruit via Zoom, and probably doing like campus tours as virtual via Zoom. So how was that new wrinkle to recruiting being this time around for you?
Yeah, it's different, man, because the recruiting it's a relationship building process, right? And so, You know, like you and I, if we met in person, you know, it'd be a lot different conversation, just a different feeling, body language and things
Yes,
that you get
indeed.
through. Like we got a good vibe and the conversation's good, but man, it'd be good to be down there in Atlanta, you know, it's chicken and waffle spot and chop it up, right? But
Yes, indeed. Yes.
it's just different. But we've adjusted, and I think kids have adjusted, parents, and you know, the fact that they can't have 2 feet actually on the campus at the current moment. You know, just for themselves to because there's such a feeling like when you get to a place and you kind of feel it feels right, and so you don't get that, you know, no different than I guess virtual dating. It's like when you're actually with someone, right? You get it just feels right, or it doesn't, and at least you know it, right? And so now you can move on to the next opportunity or option. So. But we've done, you know, our staff has done a great job. You know, we've gotten a couple commitments secured via, you know, the virtual recruiting, and so you know, I guess it's going well. But it is a ton different. I'm a big guy on, you know, when you get here and you kind of get to see the interaction with a kid and his family on a visit, and you get to, you know, you learn a lot of things that maybe the unsaid things that you get to notice on the character, you know, of a person, and you know, the family values just by seeing how they function when you get to spend, you know, up to 48 hours together on a visit, or we get to go have contact in their homes or in their schools and kind of see them in their environment. And, you know, we just don't get to do those things right now.
Oh, definitely. Because I can say, you know, I was playing for the Final Four. I was having all you all in town and having you come to the studio and come in for
Oh
interviews.
man.
Yeah, I was back getting ready to make texts and phone calls. And, hey, if you're in it, okay, I get it. If you're not, come by. I got some. I had it all mapped out. Have everybody come by the studio for at least 10-minute interview with me, but fell through
Oh
on me.
man.
Do the
I
do the
know
fire.
we had our guy Kamar Baldwin from Winder, Georgia, right down there. He was a senior. He was like, he's gonna go down as one of the best ever. Put the Butler uniform on. He was ready to try to make it to Atlanta. He was ready.
Yes, indeed. And coach, another one I got for you, man. Non-conference schedule. I know it's been hard for you guys trying to get games done, not knowing if non-conference don't really go down because of the virus and stuff. So, how's it been trying to get games? Because I know a lot of schools haven't released their schedules yet because they don't know who they'll be playing non-conference. You know, even be a non-conference schedule. So, how's that been for you guys?
Yeah, we've got agreements and contracts that agreed to, you know, earlier prior to the pandemic hitting and leaving this uncertainty in front of us. Now it's just a matter of what's the season going to look like, and if we're going to be able to follow through with, you know, with those agreements or not, and if not, how do we adjust? And I don't, you know, we don't have those answers yet either, because we're trying to figure out when we actually be able to start the season. You know, I obviously, if everything goes like normal, you're talking November 10th. You know, we're going to tip off and play the first game, but, you know, is that going to be possible? And you get new information every day, and, you know, some of the testing options that are coming out now, and, you know, how's that going to help, or, you know, what's that going to lend us to be able to do in men's basketball. You know, football's got their things that they're trying to figure out, and some are going to hop in and go. And with the fall sports, you know, in some leagues that have been delayed to the spring and things like that. So, you know, for us, the challenge is keeping our guys engaged every day, right? Just what can
Yes,
we
indeed.
control we can control today, and not really focus on the other. That's going to be somebody else's job, to medical experts first and foremost, to figure out what's safe and what's doable. And then we'll adjust, you know, as they give us information, boss, on when we can do what. You know, I think that's the game, right? It's as I told our guys, like, hey, basketball is a game of adjustments.
Got that
so,
right.
so now, and it's a life. You know, you learn a lot of life lessons. So now we're gonna have to adjust and just be ready. You know, that one of the things we talk about all the time is, hey, the time to be ready is not the time to get ready. So right now we can get ourselves as ready as possible, whether we got a basketball hoop or not, through the summer to try to train. You know, now whether we can get 10 guys out there at a time or not, maybe we can only do 4 at a time, but, you know, do everything we can to get ready. So when that time comes, you know, we can get out there and have our best version of ourselves on display.
That's one of the Gaffway coaches. This man, let's talk about Coach Thompson, man. He has passed away, and you're in the Big East Conference, man. And you play at Georgetown twice a year, and he got Patrick Ewing, one of his players at Georgetown right now. Let's talk about what Coach Thompson means to game of college basketball, what he means to the Big East Conference, what he's meant to you personally as a coach as you've grown into your role.
Yeah, that was you wake up in the morning and you did not expect that news. Obviously, you had over the weekend, you're talking Lute Olson and Cliff Robinson and Chadwick Boseman, and then, Coach John Thompson, and you're like, man, you just and as a young kid, I'm 5 years old in '84 when Coach Thompson won the national championship, and 10 years old in '89. I was born in '7 when he walks off the court for Boston College, and Allen Iverson, and you got those legendary players that have come through there, and now sitting here in this seat and having a whole different perspective at 41 years old, and thinking about, you didn't really know at the time what you were witnessing, and
Most definitely.
and what he was doing. Now, having transitioned to this point, it's like, man, the opportunity that I have to sit here as a black head coach in the Big East Conference is because of John Thompson and the opportunities that he fought for so many coaches, for so many players, and minorities, and what he stood for, and not being afraid to stand and vocalize, and even if it meant, he had to sacrifice, or take any type of backlash, and he wasn't afraid of it. He wasn't afraid of that responsibility and that obligation. And so just knowing he's a legend, right, an icon, like somebody that transcended the sport, and he'll be on the Mount Rushmore, should be, on the Mount Rushmore of college basketball for more than just winning the national championship and being the first black head coach to win the national championship, but for more than that, which that's a big deal. But obviously for impacting, so many way beyond that. You look up now, and the Big East has 5 black head coaches out of 11 schools, which is more than any other conference in the country. And just the equality to have those, the fight to have those opportunities. That you wouldn't be here without John Thompson.
Coach, I gotta tell you, man, I watched you on FS1 and Fox Sports, man. You have some bad suits, my man. You clean on the sideline, man. You clean on the sideline, brother. I say, hey, Coach Jordan, clean as he want to be over there, man, coaching them up, man.
Hey, out of all the things I had to think about on game day, my wife handles that one. I'm thinking about Villanova or Georgetown and all of the opponents. She takes care of that. So my wife Destiny, that's give her a little love and a shout out, because she takes that one off my plate.
Great job, Destiny. You doing a great job, man. Hey, you be clean, man. I be watching it, man. My man clean on the sideline, boy. He coach these boys up, boy. He doing it clean as he want to be.
I appreciate it.
Hey, man. Hey, Coach, good to catch up with you, man. And I hope you get to Atlanta real soon, man. I'm about to travel again so I can come up to Indianapolis and see you guys, man, because I know Coach Ren wanted me to come up there as well, IUPUI. So I'm like, I got to see both of you, man, real soon. But as soon as everything chills out a little bit, I hope to get back on the road and know what the Hawks going to do for us in the NBA. That I can definitely plan to make some trips up there to see you guys, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. We definitely have to do that. I know you got to be enjoying Trae Young down there. He's good. I remember trying to recruit him when I was at Michigan. He's good now.
Hey, ice Trae the game, baby. We're glad we got him.
Yeah.
Hey, yes, indeed. Well, Coach, man, hey, be safe, man. Be easy. Hope to talk to you real soon. And best of luck to you and team, man.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, that's LaVall Jordan on the Bossman Show.